Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for joining me in this session. Okay, so for the subject of research methodology, we are trying focus. We are trying focusing on business research method. So as you can see from here, uh, this is a uh, okay, we can see from here it will assist us in understanding on how properly structured and argued report can be more convincing and reliable than report based on random approach or on common sense. So in scientific approach and common sense have much in common. In scientific approach however is a more systematic and controlled treatment of common sense. Okay, so that's why we do have a scientific approach in research, so that's we can come up with our research report properly. So this is introduction, just only introduction of business research. So after a study of this chapter, you should be able to understand a few of points that you can see from here. The first point that you can see here, know the importance and scope of business research. It's a bit different compared with a pure or traditional research. And then describe what research is and how it is defined. Differentiate between applied and basic research. So business research referring to applied research. Basic research normally we just only to contribute the gap of theory or framework, but applied more to solve a problem by using a theory or framework was introduced before. Okay, and then know the importance of research to a manager. Know what business research is needed, and describe the ethical issues involved in business research. So there are some of these ethical issues involved in this business research. Okay, to be a responsible individual, that means as a researcher, so we have to understand the environment and the nature of phenomena that we present. So that's why we need to do a research, because we have to check a few of maybe a theory, and then the facts behind of that a problem. And then this can be understood as finding a solution to it. So that after we do what we can call as a literacy research problem background, so that we know what the best solution for it. So in this case, there must be something missing, or there is a gap between what we understand and then know what it should be. So in order for us to achieve this, I mean, in terms of in order for us to achieve any best solution for the problem that we want to solve, because it is about business research. When we talk about business research, we want to do we want to make a problem solving, and to achieve this, we have to go through several processes, from collecting information to selecting alternative. So as a business practitioner, okay, and for people who have an understanding about the business research, we can do the process properly. Okay? We can do the process properly, and we know how to get the information, collect information, and select what kind of information that we want to use, and select the alternative that we maybe find few of solution that we maybe can use to solve a problem. So actually, research is very important to any organization, business organization, to any business organization. Okay, so we as a student of Master in Business Administration, for example, so of course we need to implement our knowledge in what we have been taught, and then what have been learned from our process of learning during our enrolling during the process of for us in learning in to get our degree in Master in Business Administration. So that's actually we try to equip ourselves to contribute to organization in terms to stay competitive in the market. Yeah, because we know to be a competitive position is not achieved. It's not easy to achieve, and more difficult to sustain competitive competitive advantage. And we need to do a research. We need to do research, and specifically business research. To achieve that competitive advantage and sustain it. And then to accurately identify or understand each customer. So one of the very important point to stay competitive, okay, to sustain to be sustained in competitive environment or competitive position. Okay, we must focus on customer. So that's why research in business is very can play a big role to make sure that we can get right information and make a right decision, and that decision must be focused on the customer needs. So we can't understand our customer without any proper information, collection of information, and how that we can interpret that information to be very useful to understand our customer needs, and then to scrutinize its rivals in the industry, and then to analyze and emulate key strategies. So that's some of maybe we reach the step of implementation, while we have decided a few of alternative that we find from our business research. Okay, and then to keep a breeze on all aspects of the business. Okay. So there are no actually clear boundary for business scope of business research. As you can see from here, it's a very wide of phenomena. Problem occur in any area of business. Yeah? Any area of business. So if you are in the marketing department, so we can do business research in perspective of marketing. If we want to, if we are in the financial department, so of course we can do financial business research. Okay. If we are in the top management, so we can also do business research in terms of strategic management. Okay. And then no clear demarcation on the classification of a problem on the basis of area. Okay, so integration of problem related to two and more areas. Sometimes it can relate between 2 or 3 or maybe more of area that we can integrate. Okay, because we know that to solve a problem in one's business organization, sometimes we need to integrate a few of function in organization. Okay, so external environment facing the business. External environment facing the business also can be studied from business research. For example, our expectation about economics downturn, and then expectation about trend of customer, right? So preference of customer, culture of our customer. So there are a lot of area that we can do for business research. So the scope almost very wide, and quite difficult for us to have a boundary for that. So before we go in depth about the business research, we should know about the basic of research fundamental. The same goes to international business. When we have a chance to study about, or maybe we will enroll of the course of international business. Okay, so when you have a chance to study about international business, you can find there are two pillars or two integrated subject that's combined in international business. The first is business in global, and then the second about marketing. So they combine to become an international business. So business in research also some of combination from research methodology, and what we can see from here, the element of business to make a decision, to achieve, to solve a problem, to reduce a risk, and to get a better strategy to organization. Okay? So before we go in depth for business, and we can integrate between business and research, first of all we need to really clear about the what is research. What is research? So that's an intellectual application of the investigation of matter. Intellectual application, that means it will involve at least one or two theory, or one or two framework for us to use to solve a problem in the real world. And then used for discovering, interpreting, and developing method and system for advancement of human knowledge. Okay. Now we are focusing on both business and research. So that's an organized, systematic, database, critical, and objective. So it's a scientific inquiry or investigation into a specific problem undertaken with the purpose of finding answer and solution to it. Okay, and solution to it. So it comprises at least four stages. So you can see the first stage is to identify a problem. We have to identify a problem, and then the second stage is gather the relevant information. That means we should know how to gain and how to collect relevant information, because if we don't really know and have no strategy on how that we want to collect relevant information, so we lost, and of course sometimes we collect information that not really useful for us to analyze and to provide a better solution. Okay, so it is important for us to make sure that our research method skill in this stage is quite I think enough for us to gain and to collect relevant information. And if we fail to do that, this stage can become our major problem for our research or business research. Okay? The same goes as well as to research, pure research. Okay, the stage of research method is one of the very important stage to make sure that we not make a big mistake and it can lead to major correction or maybe revival for your thesis. All right, and then third stage, critically analyze the information. So the word term critically analyze, that means that's some kind of level of thinking that we have to achieve. We have to achieve. They're not just only present the information. No. Okay. Critically analyze. That means there are some of maybe what we call as in taxonomy Bloom. You have to analyze. You have to critically analyze, and that means you must have a critical thinking about that. Okay. Why that's happened, and how that you want to use that information properly in order for us to solve a problem that you are looking for. Okay. And then fourth stage, provide solution to the existing problem, and provide solution. That means based on critically analyzing the information that you gain, and then you combine with the your understanding of the theory and framework, then you come up with, okay, and also you combine with real data that you gain, and then real application. From there we can provide the best solution that for us to come up to overcome the problem. Okay. So we have two actually basic business research, type of business research, applied and basic research. So basic research, also called fundamental or pure, pure research. It's very common for us that we contribute for something and maybe to fill a gap for in some theory or some framework. And then primary objective of the advancement of knowledge. That means you have to you want to contribute to the knowledge development. Okay, and try to understand maybe some theories or some framework that's introduced from the previous scholar in that field. Okay, not undertaken to solve any specific problem. That's a basic research. Basic research. Okay, is often the foundation for further applied research. That's a foundation for further applied research. Sometimes we have a recommendation for future researcher to come up with another area for them to study, that you don't have a chance to study for that. Okay, and then the second type of business research is applied research. That's a use knowledge or research finding for practical concern. Use that knowledge or research finding for practical concern, and this to solve a current problem faced by the organization in work setting. For example, my friends doing when I was studying I enrolled in my PhD research. Okay, my friend from TM come up with solution for in training for this department, and the result from there. Okay, TM can save up to more than 2 million ringgit. That's some solution and solve the problem, and can get give a benefit to organization. From that problem solving issue that he present, just only about not more than half an hour. Okay, he succeed his PhD for business research. Okay, so application of non-theories to the actual operational field. So this is more to application of theory or framework. So there are some of managerial value of business research. Okay, to make right decision in timely manners. So in business, whatever business work, sometimes we must properly manage. So the value of management in our research can result to a few of positive impact. For example, we can make a right decision in timely manner, and then well informed and up to date in their own area of specialization. Okay, and then recent development in particular industry. Okay, and then understand, predict, and control the environment of the organization. So there are a lot of maybe contribution other than this point. And if we can refer from the real story of Nokia, for example, when they are failed to predict the future era of handphone. So they fail to cope with the customer need, and now you can see Nokia brand become collapse. Okay, so that's how that managerial value of business research can play a big role, especially in the business environment. So there are some of situation we can see from here that business research is very important for us to do. Okay. Then the manager decision as to whether or not research should be conducted for a problem encountered in an organization depend on various factors. Okay. Time constraint, availability of data, nature of decision, benefit versus cost. So, but I'm not really sure about the real fact out there. But based on a few of maybe what we can see as a observation, not until research finding, but just observation of a few organizations that I visit based on my own experience. The constraint is come from the ability of people who in charge for that department to do business research. Their lack of knowledge in business research actually. Okay, so that's why they are very difficult to justify times frame to do a business research and how to gain a proper data. That means to gain a proper data, to collect a proper data, you need a team actually. You need a team because this is more too practical. It is not quite impossible for just only one man show or just only one guy responsible for business research and can solve a problem to all of organization. So that's why it is important for top management must have a very clear understanding of how important of this business research, right? So the goal of ethics in research is to ensure that no one is harmed or suffer adverse consequences while following any stage of research. Okay, so research purposes are to contribute for the best or for organization performance. So we must really clear about that objective that we set for business research. So that's why when we are very clear about our objective in business research, I believe that ethical consideration in research can be take into account when we follow any stage of the research. This is not the way that we want to find somebody mistake. No, okay. We just want to make a better for our organization performance and as well as for everybody to make a good impact for their department or in fact for their individual performance. And then honestly assess their capabilities, ethical consideration and sponsor. I mean, honestly assess their capability. Research must be conducted in a professional manner with a systematic, organized and scientific approach. So this is what we second point here, what we are very concerned about the capability. Sometimes lack of skill, knowledge about business research can lead to maybe misunderstanding or misperception of business research. Okay, and as a result, you can see this is not about time sponsoring. This is more about lack of ability or capability of people who should conduct of this business research. Okay, and then research project result will remain confidential. Okay, and then submit the research report to the sponsoring company at the agreed time. So this is ethical consideration and the sponsor. So maybe in some organizations, since we don't have capability to do that business research, normally we will hire third party to do a business research for our organization. Okay, this ethics and target respondent. That means target respondent who provide the information, or maybe in normal research we call it as a respondent, or sample. Target respondent can be called as a sample who provide the information, and then information collected should not be misused for any other purpose. And then participation is voluntary, confidentiality of replies, confidentiality of the replies, and then not to embrace respondent or informant. So there's some ethics guideline with target respondent or sample, and then researcher and team member let's design a project that is safe for everyone involved. Design a project that is safe for everyone involved. So if you are a researcher or leader for a research team, we have to make sure that it's our project must be designed safely to everyone involved. Okay, impartial and unbiased to accurately record all necessary data. Okay, so this is more to ethics and how that we can make sure our research finding has some credibility, and no one can argue, no one can accuse or maybe question our research finding. Okay, there are two assessments that you can see from there. Okay, what are the 4 stages of business research, and discuss 2 types of business research. So these 2 assessment. Okay, these 2 assessment you have to do by yourself. What are the 4 stages of business research, and discuss 2 type of business research. Okay, so this is just only for your revision, for your revision. So I think it's quite clear, the answer from slides, if you go back to the slides before. So I hope that you get and you can remember and understand the topic that we discussed for this chapter. So anyway, thank you very much for this chapter. So we will continue with the next chapter, second chapter. Thank you.